Welcome to the New Birth Fitness Podcast. My name is Shiloh Bryant, and this is my wife,
Danny.
Here, we're all about empowering moms to transform lives and change the world. This is podcast episode number 4.
So today we're going to have a very special guest. He's been one of my friends for many, many years. And you're going to be able to hear a completely different perspective, something that'll make you think, from the outside as a mom. So, when you have that kind of friend that they just keep it real with you and they tell you things how it is, even when you don't want to hear it, and they bring out sometimes the worst side and sometimes the absolute best side of you. That's the kind of friend that I'm going to have on this episode today.
Love it. Let's do it. Let's get right into it.
So for everybody that doesn't know, this is our son, Nathan. Nathan, tell them a little bit about yourself.
My name is Nathan, obviously, and I like to draw, and I love to play sports, especially with my friends at the school. My favorite sport has to be soccer. I get the sport from my Hispanic heritage. That's why I love it so much.
Okay, tell them how old you are.
I'm 9 years old.
When you turn 10?
2 months.
Right around the corner, Big 10 on the way. So let's start out with a story. Matter of fact, let's start out with a recent story. Okay? A very recent story. This could speak to a lot of kids. It could speak to a lot of moms, right? So let's talk about what happened yesterday. Well, no, before we even go there, let's talk about what did you say to us last week? You wanted to start running, right? So you were playing soccer and you're running all the time, but now you're not really playing soccer more because you stopped, right? So Monday you started doing your running. How much did you run?
80 laps.
80 laps. So after you finished your 80 laps, you came back inside and you talked to us about how it felt, right? And then my comment to you was, you know what's even more important? I love the fact that you did 80 reps, and you came to us and said you want to start running. We didn't tell you you had to run, so I love that you took the initiative to do it in the first place. Then I said to you, but what is also going to be more impressive is the consistency you do it at, right? It's more important to say I did this certain amount each day than it is to say I did 80 today, and then next week I didn't do nothing. The week after that, I didn't do anything. So then what you said is, you know what? I'm going to start doing how many?
Each 5 laps, I do 5 push-ups.
How many on Tuesday?
The total amount of laps, I would do 20, but each 5 laps, I would do 5 push-ups.
Mm-hmm.
So I would get 100 push-ups in.
That's a lot of push-ups, boy. So you did that Tuesday. I watched you go outside and do that Wednesday, and you did it Thursday, back to back. Then what happened Friday?
Well, I skipped it right whenever I got home. Then I started feeling tired. Then I ate, and it felt like I didn't want to do it.
Mm-hmm. And it's crazy because Thursday, right before that, what I said, it's always harder to do the thing you said you want to do when you put it on the back burner and you don't do it first. So Thursday, you came in and did other things, and it made it harder to be able to go do your workout, right?
Yeah.
So then Friday came, and what happened?
I didn't want to do it, but then whenever I realized that I had to do it, that's when I started to go out. But at first, I was just walking. I wasn't doing my laps because I didn't want to do it.
I see you kicking that pine cone. he was playing soccer outside, walking with the pine cone, kicking the pine cone.
Well, and what I'll also add to that is I remember Friday morning when he was ready to go to school, we were talking about it, and he was saying, well, I did say that I wanted to do this, but maybe I shouldn't have said all that because, it's a lot. And really, I just wanted to run. So sometimes it's hard to keep, that word not only to yourself or not even, okay, maybe you specifically didn't say, I want to work out every day. But once you're doing it, it's harder to stick to it when you already make the excuse of why you don't want to do it in the first place. So maybe your thought was, I already told mom, that I didn't want to do it. Maybe when I get back, I'll get away with not doing it. So sometimes I feel like that's something as moms, we want to protect them from those uncomfortable feelings. We want to, make sure that they don't feel pressured into things. But sometimes what we don't realize is that we're doing them a disservice by allowing them to say they want to do something and then not follow up with it, especially young boys.
So you didn't want to really do it at that point, and I said, "Hey, you got to stick to your word, right?" And I know it's uncomfortable, right? It's okay. So what I did is I came outside with you. Your first 5 laps that you were doing, how did it feel? Give me your honest thoughts and opinions on how you feel when you were having to do something that you didn't really want to do. How do you honestly feel?
Well, the thing is, it kind of felt better because when I said running, I didn't expect it to be alone by myself. But whenever I started to do it with you, I started to get more comfortable because I didn't like doing it by myself, but I still did it.
Gotcha. So that first 5 laps, you were doing it by yourself. I seen you starting to kind of get out of your mood a little bit, like, I don't want to do this. He's making me do it. And I understand why. But I don't want you to grow up and keep switching from different thing to different things. Like, hey, you said you got to go. Let's do it. Okay. Your energy started going up at about 6, right? So I said, you know what? He's starting to push himself. He's starting to do it better. So I joined in with you. And how did you feel when I joined in with you running back and forth?
Better because I wasn't alone doing something where I didn't want to do it. I was with somebody else who didn't want to do it too, but they're still doing it.
Yep. And I was doing it to be with my son. Like, we already did our workout early in the morning. The last thing I want to do is be outside running, but I wanted to be a part of it with you. So now, after you finish all of your lap, and actually, how did you feel in the very last 25% of your workout? What was that like versus the first part?
Well, started adding sit-ups, and I was going, okay. But then you started adding more push-ups, and I was like, okay. Then you added 20 push-ups on my face after a sprint, then another sprint, and I was just like, okay, let me just hurry up and finish it and be done.
But do you notice how what you were able to do was way more than you thought you could in the beginning? You were actually running way faster the last little part, and you actually did way more push-ups at the last end too, right? Once you finished all your laps, how did you actually feel at the very end once you accomplished everything you were trying to do?
Tired.
Tired? Anything else?
I don't know. I just feel better.
But better in what way?
Like, I feel like I'm finished. I can
Like you
relax.
accomplished something?
Not really accomplished. Just happy that I finished something.
It's a big deal because a lot of people start things, stop, start things, stop, start things, stop. Can you get better at anything by doing that?
What are some of the things that you think have changed in your mindset ever since Shy has been, teaching you different things, mindset wise? What are some of those things?
Well, I do control my anger better. I've learned is to listen more than you talk, because I used to talk a lot more before, and a lot of stuff went through my head or through one ear and another ear, where now I try to listen more than I talk. I want to be the listener more than the talker, which I've heard in a lot of the audiobooks that I've listened to, a lot of the stuff that I listen to.
What have you noticed has changed since listening more?
It's like I'm growing a little more. I'm not saying that I'm better than anybody. I just want to point that out. But I'm saying I feel like I'm getting more mature than most of the kids that I see now at my school.
What would you say is, we're talking about mindset. So what have you learned about the importance of mindset?
I feel like it's really important for like you as a whole, because in PE I learned this thing says 100 trillion brain cells, and if you make all of those brain cells say you can do something, then you're able to do it.
That's huge.
That's big. That's big. What things have you noticed over the years, like that you've noticed from your mom that stand out to you? Like maybe it's different things she went for, her passion, the way she goes after things. What things stand out to you about your mom that you see taking it to your life?
Well, I do know it's harder for my mom to learn because she was at a young age getting taught other stuff that is not the same as this stuff right now. So that's why I feel like she's going a little slower than me or Sebastian. But I say she does control her anger more. And like, I feel like she helps me more whenever she listens to me more. Whenever like she listens to me, she doesn't like to listen. She listens just to listen. And I feel like most kids, they feel like their parents don't usually listen to them. Or like everything they say goes over their heads. Which I feel like, well, sometimes I do feel like that. And I will say, try to listen more to your kids' opinion and try to understand where they're coming from, because they also do have emotions like you do. So I'll just say that.
Wow. So more parents, you would say they could get a lot more from the kids if they listen more. What else? What other things come to mind you feel like kids really need or don't really get, or like if parents could do more of to get more out of kids?
Talk to them, just talk to them. Or like play with them every once in a while. Just do something with them. Because I feel like if a kid is only doing playing with like toys, electronics, I feel like you need to get in and play with them sometimes. It doesn't necessarily have to be like play, running around. Like, you could play video games, you could watch TV together, or you could just have a simple talk, like stuff you like a normal friend. I feel like I'd like it more if more parents did what that concept of everything is, because I feel like whenever you get to talk to your kids, you learn more stuff about your kids. Maybe you didn't know something about a kid that they're feeling, that they're going through. Maybe you see them doing bad in school. Asking why, I feel, is a good solution to trying to see their insight of why they're getting bad grades, they're falling off, and like not doing the best they have in recent years. Maybe it's getting harder for them because they're growing up, or like something happened, that he can't control, that he feels is stressing him out, or he or she, sorry. And I just wanted to say that part.
I think you just put a lot of parents on game right there. So many parents need to hear what you just said, because it is easy to overlook those things when the parent is, working consistently. They got to take care of you. They got to, come back and take care of you some more after they get off work, and also deal with their own emotions and mindset. So when you got all those different things going on, it's easy to not really hear what your child is saying, because you're like, I got to pay bills, got to do this, got to do this. So that is very powerful, what you just said there. And to add on to that, even the playing side of things, right? I think it's also easy for parents to fall into the thing of saying, let kids be kids and just let kids be kids. Because what can happen is if you just let them be kids and you never teach them any skills that can be better for them later on in life, then how do they get to that point? Because you're not really learning that in school, right? So I think also even him being on this podcast right now, that was from him watching. He actually one day he came up and he was like, matter of fact, you tell. So you came up to us and I seen some stuff. What are you talking about? You seen some stuff. When you came to us on the tablet and you said you saw stuff, what did you see?
I saw videos in your channel. So I started watching them and I started seeing the videos.
This man came up and I thought he was going to say he saw a video. And he comes up and like, I seen this video where y'all said this. I seen this video where you said this. And I'm like, how many videos did you watch before you came over here and made this comment? He's like, oh, I seen basically almost. I'm like, dude, what? So your kids are always learning from you, and the thing. So not even just what you say. What's more important is what they see you doing. So when he sees us doing podcasts, he sees us trading, he sees us. Oh wait, just to let you know, y'all know.
Y'all better comment this was nice because I've been practicing.
This is intermission when it's early in the morning, but he wanted to be up here, so hey, here we are. That's how you get some of the yawns out. Control it. Back straight. Yeah, there we go. Better. Hmm? Nice. Get that butt a little higher.
I haven't even counting.
That's fine. Get something to wake you up. Good. All right. Intermission. All right, come on.
How many
That's
more?
good. You're fine.
Oh, I'm gonna do 5 more.
All right, come on, let's do it. 2, 3. Come on. 4. Nice. I remember when you couldn't do 1. All right. Now, get your breathing in. You get your. So also it's important as well as playing to get your kids involved in the different things you do. Whether, hey, you like to work on cars, whether it's you like to cook, whether it's, hey, you like doing content, get them involved and they can learn new skills that can apply to them later on in life as well. I've seen him pick up so many different things just because of watching what we do. So kids learn a lot by just watching versus you just tell them to do it. If you say, hey, I need you to work out, and you're never working out, more than likely they ain't gonna do it and ain't gonna stick to it.
I do want to say another thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, a lot of kids now, they watch content creators and stuff like that. If you see something where you're like, because there's so many things that you probably don't know that your kids are very capable of and they're like really good at, or like something that's amazing that you don't know. I would try to say, look at what their thing is, because like right here, we like fitness, like mentality. That's where they got their channel based off. And your kid could go really big. Maybe you don't know. Finding what they like and what they're good at. Because there's so many things that people watch on YouTube. You could type so many things. You could type almost anything on the world on YouTube and find it. So if you can't find a single thing, you're not trying hard enough. You like, as I said, you can talk. Like, maybe a kid is like a really bright kid. Maybe like if you see him doing good grades, like I love to draw. My mom was thinking about making me an Instagram and like social media, because I don't want to brag, but I'm pretty good at it.
Yeah, you are really good. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's I love that you're pointing that out, because as a parent, especially as a mom, you have to be very intentional about how you use those younger years, because sometimes a child has a gift or they're talented at something. And if you as an adult, as a parent, are not the one to help pull that out of them, then some of those abilities and that talent just dies.
Yeah.
And eventually you have a child that drew a lot in their younger years, and then they grew up and they're like, I used to draw so much, but I don't do it anymore. So with him, we were talking more about, even this opportunity for you to be on the podcast, to give you more experience so that you are able to do these things on your own. You're able to create your own YouTube channel. You're able to, make your social media and just show the people how good your art really is, expose it to the world. So I love that you're, bringing that up, because each child is different. His brother Sebastian, he's not here today, but we'll definitely have him on another episode. Yep. And he's very good at building things. So he's you know, he's very crafty and he uses his hands a lot to build. He loves to build. So each child is different. They're going to have different abilities. And I knew from the beginning that Nathan would be, I call him my little artist. So yeah, he's my little artist. So that's a great point that you're making there.
He pointed out something so powerful because, like you said, your kids have all these different abilities and it can just slip by if you don't capitalize on them. But the same also goes for you. There might be things that you're sleeping on, like, oh, I'm just know how to cook. Oh, I just know how to clean. I just know how to do this. And like he said, you can search anything on YouTube and it's there. How do you know that maybe somebody doesn't want to hear your personality on camera talking about the thing that you always do? And that could turn into something really huge based on only doing something that you already are doing in the first place anyway.
I want to add on that.
Mm-hmm.
The cooking part, like, all of those moms out there, I bet y'all make delicious meals. And another thing, you know how many adults cook on the internet? Like, moms, they're good at cooking, as I know from my mom. And I feel like I'm not saying that people can't cook. Well, actually, but if you know how to cook.
I'm telling you, they keep it very real.
Yes.
if you know how to cook, that's a perfect way to put it out on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do a lot of these stuff, because there's so many content creators who make like millions, like Nick Giovanni. Shout out to him. And like so many other content creators. And whenever you get to that point where you feel like you have the ability where you're good to cook enough, you can maybe make a recipe book, maybe something like merch wise, so somebody else could get it and they could learn from you, so you could pass on whatever you're learning to somebody else, so they could have like a bright future, so as you do if you do that same path.
There you go. So it doesn't have to be like, oh, I got to start a restaurant because I'm trying to cook. Oh, I got to have a food truck. Maybe you just put the content out there. People start following you. And now if you decide to do a restaurant or food truck, you already have the following for it and they all come support you. Love that.
What are some of the things that you think are some of the most important things that moms can do to help inspire their children?
If you're like seeing yourself grow in your body, I'm not shaming. But if you see your body growing, like your stomach growing or something that you don't like about your body and you really want to fix that, I feel like your children seeing you put the work so you can get something better, I feel will definitely help the kids. So whenever they feel like they don't like something, they can go and do it for themselves. They don't need their mom to go there and help them. They see their mom doing it independently, where she knows how to do it. She's doing the right thing. She's not doing anything bad or like dumb. She's just doing something where it's straight. And whenever the children learn that, I feel like it can really, really help with everything, really. Because if you see, because the gym is one of the only places where you can work on yourself in public. And I feel if your kids seeing you constantly work on yourself, they're gonna want to work on themselves. And when their kids come, they show their kids what all these years they have been doing, their bloodline has been doing, everything like that.
So you just dropping the mic all episode, huh?
Yeah. I'm just curious. So now that you say that, what are some of the things that you've seen me work on that have inspired you?
I feel like putting the work to seeing you grow better, trying to grow better, because I know you're not just growing better for yourself, you're growing better for the whole family. Shy, Sebastian, me. And I feel like you have a lot to carry on your back, because you this is basically new to you. We haven't we haven't been a family for like a whole generation or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
My mom is new to all of this different perspectives. That's why she's still getting confused. She's still getting mad, but I feel like she has a lot to carry on her back. Cause us, we're a depiction of my mom, and I feel like my mom, she does everything she needs to. So if she does that, we can do the same thing, me and my brother.
Wow, love it.
Yeah. So on that same token, because you're absolutely right. There's been things that I've had to learn, things that I had to switch my mindset completely, even with the gym. It's only been 3 years that I started this fitness journey. But what would you say to those moms that feel guilty for doing something to improve themselves, because they have kids to also take care of and a family and a household? What would you say?
Yeah, because they're trying to get better mentally, physically, and then they feel guilty about it. What is something you would say to them?
Feeling guilty is alright, because everybody feels guilty. And it's not a bad thing that you're working on yourself, because when your kids, like I said, when you're working on yourself, your kids shows that. So there's no reason for you to feel guilt and disappointment when your kids are learning from you, your kids are listening from you. There's no, guilt is a common thing. There's nothing else where it's like, I feel bad. Guilt is always creeping up on you. That's whenever you gotta say, I'm better than this, and the guilt is not gonna come over me, cause I am the person who takes care of my kids, my family. I'm the one who gave birth to my kids, everybody, and I should not be feeling guilty for the stuff that I did, which I should feel is a good point. Like, if I do something, you should not feel guilt about it. You should feel that you should feel. I'm not saying that you shouldn't work on yourself and say, "Dang, I shouldn't do this," but I'm saying whenever something's already did, you shouldn't feel guilty about it, because it's already done. There's
And so
nothing
it's
you can
not
do.
the feeling guilty that's bad, it's what you choose to do it after you feel guilty. Do you do things in a positive light or you do things in a negative light? So I love what you said. So if you're going to feel guilty about something, feel guilty if you're not doing anything at all. If you're not doing anything to try to improve, maybe you should do some things to try to push yourself. So, like you said, your kids can see it and they can take after that too. If there's one thing you could tell to moms that are struggling with consistency and sticking to their goals, what would you say?
You're the one who
Yep.
taught me. If you're not really consistent with your stuff, try to put in the work where you are consistent. Like the same topic we were on a couple minutes ago, where I felt like I didn't want to do it because I didn't knock it out at first. I feel like the best thing to do, stay with it, do it first. Don't try to get sidetracked by anything. If you're trying to do this and you know you're not supposed to do something, don't try to make excuses about how it's supposed to be done, because the stuff that you don't want to do gets you to happy results. And whenever you get to happy results, you feel more confident about yourself. You feel better about yourself. So I feel if you don't like it, just remember this: whenever stuff you don't like, it always turns to the light.
Love it.
There you
Proud
go.
mom.
Yeah, proud mom moment. So, what would you say to moms that feel like, maybe they've failed as a person, but as a mom towards their kids? What would you say?
Well, I'd say this is definitely one of the more deeper topics, but feeling guilt, and like I said, it's definitely a really hard topic, but it's never too late for you to try back and try to do something else. It's never too late for you to keep going on your goals, because you've never actually failed. You've just not completed. And if you feel like you failed as a person, there's no way you can fail as a person, because right now in this life, there's nothing you can do where you fail completely. there's always something where you can learn and get better from it. You never actually fail. You always just get better. Whenever you're failing, when you don't take it as something where, yeah, I should probably do something different. I should probably maybe like look at something in a different perspective, I feel, then you don't get anywhere. But if you put that failure into everything that makes you better, you'll start seeing better results, better everything. Because as I said, you might feel like your kids don't like you, or your kids don't want to see you or something like that. Your kids love you as much as you love them. Your kids will never stop loving you no matter what, because there's always a spot in your heart for your mom. There's always a spot where every kid has where they'd do anything for their mom. And if you feel like your kids don't have that spot, I feel like you need to work on yourself, because every kid has that. You should try to work on yourself where you think, I am a good mom. No matter what I've done, I still am a good mom. I'm not a bad mom. I'm just a mom that needs to work on something.
Wow. Well, on that note, is there any last gem that you want to just put out there, speaking to the moms that they need to hear? Whatever comes to mind, I need to let them hear this.
One quote I want to put out is that Usain Bolt trained 4 years to run 9.48 seconds. You could train 10 years to change your whole entire life. Boom! My job, baby. And change your kids.
Hey. Good job, man. So we talking
There you
about,
go.
hey, that's one. Good job, man. For real.